Y'all, the greatest, one of the single most greatest, well, that's awkward. One of the single most greatest, yeah, that, whatever. One of the most freeing and liberating things that I have come to the conclusion of in my short 32 years of life is that there is very little I can control. There are many things I can manage, very few things I can control. Case in point, a couple of years ago, I remember I used to be a nurse aide. I used to work in people's homes, bathing, changing, whatever was needed. Pretty much, I was there to do it. And so I remember one day I was with one of my patients in their home, and I remember just at random, my knee slid out of the socket, kind of like a lily pad on water, and slid to the left. And that was painful. But it was so random and the impact was so strong that I actually fell to the ground and smacked my knee up against the bathroom floor. And I remember in that moment, you know that when the people say that, what's your pain level from 1 to 10? That was a 10. That was a straight 10. It hurt from beginning to it was just, I couldn't believe it. It was legit so much pain. And everything in me wanted to scream, wanted to cry, wanted to lose my mind, like bang my fists against the ground, whatever I needed to do. My body was in so much agony. My knee was in so much agony from not just sliding out of place, but then falling on the floor and hitting it again and hitting it on top of the pain I was already in. It was a straight 10. And forgive me, I am outside and, cars are going by, so it's going to be a little noisy. I apologize. But I was in a client's home, and I remember that at that moment, my client needed me to stay calm. My client was worried, my patient actually was worried about me. He was worried that I had fallen down, and he wanted to help me, but he couldn't. So at that moment, I had to force myself to not scream, to not even cry, not do anything. I had to literally force myself to remain calm until someone else could come and help me. I didn't even have control over my body acting right in the moment. And yet there have been moments in my life where I literally thought that if the whole world just did exactly what I thought they should do, acted just how I thought they should act, then my life would be perfect. So me and my flawed self thought that if the whole world acted like Sierra, me, then life would just be better. That is not true. The only thing that would change is that whatever goodness that's in me would be magnified 7-point-something billion people over, and the negative part of me would also magnify 7-point-something billion people over. Because I am not perfect, because I don't make all the right decisions 100% of the time, because I'm not always right. Like I just said the same thing twice, whatever. You get what I'm saying. Because I'm imperfect, 7-point-something billion people just like me will make the world just as imperfect as it already is. I can't control so many things in life. The only thing I can assume control of, have some semblance of control of, is my mind, my will, my emotions. I can't control how people react to my videos. I can't control if people like them or not. I can't control if people like me or not. I can't control I can just control my mind, my will, my emotions. And friend, if you have listened to me thus far, one, thank you. I appreciate it. You didn't have to, but thank you for doing that. But I just have to say that you can't control people either. You can't control other people's mind, will, and emotions, but you can control your own. You can't make people see everything your way 100% of the time, but you can change your perspective. And that seems so small and so stupid, but let me be honest with you. Once I realized that one thing I can control is myself, how I think, how I perceive things, how I process things. Actually, my mind got free. Mentally and emotionally, I felt free. Like, I ain't got to try to get people to think how I think or see how I see things. I just have to manage myself. And that's 24/7 work. Me managing myself, me changing my perspective, me, not being caught up in the craziness of the world, but choosing to think of the things of God. And yes, I'm a believer in Christ, and just having that type of perspective, that is a 24/7 task. And it's more than enough. I know you want to assume control. I know you want the world to just function how you think it should function. I know you want, family, spouse, kids, friends, enemies, whatever, boss, coworkers. You want everybody to feel and think and do whatever you think they should feel, think, and do, but you are going to drive yourself crazy because it's never going to happen. So submit to that fact. Move forward. If you are a believer in Christ like I am, submit yourself to God. If you're not, then submit yourself to whatever morals that you can line up with and manage yourself. You're not always going to be able to manage your body. So, like I said about my knees, sometimes things just happen randomly and no rhyme or reason. Everything it can be fine. The next minute something isn't. You can't even control sometimes how your body moves and functions, but you can control how you deal with it. And I'm not talking as someone who has passed this test. I'm not talking as someone who has done this perfectly. I have failed at it many times, which is why I can say the best thing you can do is submit to yourself to God, to see things from His perspective and move forward in peace. And again, if you're not a believer in Christ or have no religious background, submit yourself to whatever morals that you can align yourself with and manage your mind and will, your own mind, your own will, and your emotions. Does it mean that you won't have to assume authority or control at times? No, that's not what that means. It means that 24/7 itch in you of wanting control and wanting to be in control has to die. Because if there were however many billion people in the world that was 100% just like you, it still wouldn't be a perfect place. Thank you so much for taking the time to listen to me. Feels good to be back on YouTube making videos again, and I'll catch you all next time.